All right, greetings everybody, and welcome to week number 13. That is right, week number 13 of your 9407 class, which is your intellectual freedom and its discontents class. As always, I'm your professor, Dr. Jace K. Austin, and what we are going to be doing today is a state of the course update, and then I'm actually, because I'm kind of tired and pushed on some deadlines and some other things that are going on, I'm not going to ramble as much as I usually do. I know y'all hear that a lot. It's going to be the case this time. So, let's first get into this state of the course update. The main thing, well, first of all, I forgot to remind you all that your banned and challenged book reports were turned in at the end of October. I believe that even one or two that was outstanding has now been turned in. And so I forgot to remind you all to just take a look at those. And it might be something that if you're bored during the, not that you're going to be bored, I think everybody's busy these days, but if somehow you're bored, if somehow you have figured out how to be bored, by all means, this could be something, the banned and challenged book report entries that your classmates did that if you want to go over those, well, you can go over them at any point where the class is still live, and it's going to be live until the end of the semester. But if you decide that, hey, fall break, Thanksgiving break, which we will not have class next week, there will be no check-in video or nothing really from me next week. I use that time to catch up on grading. But yes, next week when there is no class, if you want to use that time to look at the banned and challenged book reports, by all means, you are welcome to do so. So yes, reading those is a great way to learn about these various books, and these books do become discussion topics when you are talking to other librarians in the field. So it may not be a bad idea to look at those if you have not already, and I just wanted to send you that reminder. The next thing that I wanted to say is that on November the 17th, which is this coming Friday, it is Friday. This Friday, you do have an assignment due. It's going to be your advocacy letter assignment. It is not going to be very difficult, y'all. You do not have to, you do have a, not a formal rubric, but this is the criteria upon which you'll be graded. It's a letter, y'all. It's a letter. So this is not something that's long. If you've written any sort of advocacy letter in the past, then you've done something like this before. But yes, I do want to see how well you all can advocate and use your voices as librarians to advocate for good or the greater good or whatever the case may be. So don't forget that that is due on Friday. However, one thing that I do want to say as I say that this is due on Friday is that you will have a grace period. So basically, I'm not going to get around to grading these things before the fall break. I just got, again, a lot going on, as do probably all of you. So you do have a grace period until Sunday. I know this is weird. Let me explain my madness here. There is a method to my madness. So I cannot make something due while school is not in session. So I cannot make something due on Sunday like I usually would, because fall break starts on Saturday, okay? Thanksgiving break starts on Saturday, so you cannot have that assignment due on Sunday. However, I know that you all are used to having the weekend to do your assignments, and so you do have that again this time around. You are going to have a grace period. The assignment is technically due on Friday. However, if you turn it in by Sunday night, Monday morning, you will not face any point deduction. So that's how that works. There's a method to my madness, like I just said. So go ahead and get that done. You do have an example of an advocacy letter written by LIS professor Dr. Kawana Bright, who's over at East Carolina University. And yes, this should not be something that you are, quite frankly, like stressing out about. Again, it's writing a letter. You probably can get it done within maybe 5 hours at the most, but most of you will probably be able to put a letter together in 1 to 3 hours, probably, okay? So this isn't something that is designed to stress you out. When we get back, this is something else that I do want to mention. When we get back, we are going to have our debate. Our debate is going to be on November the 28th. And our debate participants have been working very, very hard, and they are going to do a fantastic job. I want to congratulate them in advance, but I'm very much looking forward to the work that they are going to do. All right, so just know that that debate is coming, and then your final paper is due on December the 11th. Those of you who participate in the debate, do not worry about that final paper. All you have to do after the debate is and you're going to get extra credit for being in the debate too. But yes, once the debate is done, all you have to do is discussion board posts, and you do not have to worry about that final paper, okay? So that is pretty much it for the state of the course updates. And so what I want to talk about very, very, very briefly is, and I hope I haven't talked about this already in the class. If so, then I'm repeating myself and I apologize. But again, I am tired, and so are you all. I know it. I can feel it. But what I wanted to do, I guess, was talk very quickly about this, because this is something that is a recurring point of contention within our field for some reason. I don't always know why librarians get passionate about the things that they get passionate about, but librarians often don't understand why I get passionate about things. So hey, it's just kind of tit for tat. But this is something that you will see come up every now and then. Every now and then you're just going to see somebody post this and everybody have these strange reactions to it. A great library has something in it to offend everybody. And trust me, when this image comes up on social media somewhere, what follows is this very, very, very strange argument about whether or not it's true. I want to hear if you're willing to talk about some fun stuff. Again, if you're just bored and just want to put something in the free-for-all section, this is something that you all can talk about. I'm going to give my opinion. Okay, I kind of started the video over. I said I was going to give my opinion, but then I stopped there. I actually recorded like 5 minutes after that, and then I think what I was saying didn't really make any sense. So I apologize if now I've just kind of cut it off and restarted. But that's what I needed to do in order to make more sense and make kind of a cleaner sort of video here. So this is something that comes up all the time. You'll see it on social media. A great library has something in it to offend everyone. And you see librarians, every time this comes up, librarians just lose their minds. There's this debate, do they really, should they not, should they, whatever. But it becomes this really weird back and forth whenever this image does come up and whenever this statement does come up. And a lot of your quote unquote activist librarians, I'm not going to get into why I don't consider librarians to be activists. That's for another time. I've written about that. But what I'm going to say is, yeah, a lot of your librarians who think of themselves as activists, they would likely very much disagree with this statement of a great library has something in it to offend everyone. And I've seen the librarians that I know who go around calling themselves activists, they tend to disagree with this statement. But then you have librarians that do agree with the statement. Obviously you do, because that's why it's actually outside of a library. And so when I think about what my opinion on this is, I think that honestly, my opinion doesn't go into should they or should they not. A great library, like let's say this was restated as a great library should have something in it to offend everyone. That statement, I don't know if I disagree with it or not. I just don't know. But the statement as written, a great library has something in it to offend everyone, I think that's kind of true. Well, it depends on what you're looking at and considering as everyone. Now, if everyone is 100% of people, then no, a great library isn't going to have something in it to offend everyone, because there is a very small segment of the population that is just never offended for one reason or another. Maybe they just totally don't give a F, and so they're never offended because of that. Or maybe they have some cognitive disabilities or something of that nature, and so they don't have the ability to experience. Maybe there are those who just don't have the ability to experience offense due to some cognitive disability they have or some sort of limitation that they have. And you never know, and I do want to be, just courteous to those who have disabilities, But let's say that by everyone, they didn't mean 100% of people, maybe by including babies and things like that. Let's say that by everyone, they meant everyone who is an adult who can read the materials in the library and who is cognitively able to understand the materials. If that's what you consider everyone, then honestly, I think it's going to be the case that nearly everyone is going to be offended by something. In these days and times, I think that I think that everybody has a trigger these days. Not, again, when I say everybody, adults, adults who are of at least average cognitive ability and that sort of thing. But I think that when you're dealing with people who aren't disabled and that sort of thing, there's going to be something that's a trigger to pretty much all of those people. And therefore, just by default, a great library is probably going to have something in it that will offend them because people have triggers. They have nuances. I don't consider myself to be an easily offended person, but there are things that do offend me, okay? And so, yes, I would probably be somebody who would be, if you made me just look at every single thing in the library, eventually I'm going to get to something that will probably offend me, okay? I'm just going to keep it real. And I think that, I don't know, I think that this is something that librarians therefore just spend too much time on because quite frankly, I think that if we actually get, and this is how I'm relating this back to this week's topic, which is self-censorship, I think that if we actively strive to create libraries that don't have anything that will offend somebody, that's when we start to possibly become vulnerable to self-censorship. So that's how I want to state that. And I feel I stated it a lot better in this re-air than I did when I just had to reset on the video and start over from the halfway point. So I hope that made sense. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. Do you agree that a great library has something in it to offend everyone? All right, I will leave it there with the question, but I've given my opinion as well. I am Dr. Jace, and believe it or not, you are almost done with this race because after this week and then after fall break, sorry. After this week and fall break, you only have weeks 14 and 15, 2 more weeks, and then you'll be done. So congratulate yourselves in advance, but don't slack off. Finish the semester on a high note. I will see you week after next. Next week, you're off. Enjoy your Thanksgiving.